What's on everyone's mind right now? Well, it's probably the coronavirus. And because of that, we have to make some decisions as real estate professionals as to how we're going to react to this crisis, to this event that's happening. It's really a black swan event. It's not something I've seen in 30 years of practicing real estate, but I have seen ups and downs. I've seen other crisis events occur, and you have to make some decisions when you're in a crisis moment, when you're in a black swan event. Here's the first decision is that I'm going to keep working. You have to keep working and you have to keep communicating with your clients. So important, because what happens is agents, the vast majority of agents are going to use this as a justification for not working, for not doing their job. They're going to use it as a reason to fail. We want to use this as a reason to rise. And I want you to think about this. This can be an obstacle or it can be an opportunity. It can actually lead to some of you, a lot of you that are listening to this that care about, your family and your business. It can lead to you actually having increased income. And you might say, how's that possible? Because if everyone else goes into hibernation, everyone else goes to sleep, and you're still working, guess who benefits? You do. And we want to put you in position to do that. So first step is we've got to communicate with our clients, and we've got to be the calm in the storm, the strength behind and the conviction of knowing that real estate is the best investment, the best asset class that people can invest their money in because it's safe, stable, and secure. The 3 S's: safe, stable, secure. Safe, stable, secure. You want to make sure you're communicating that with your clients. I'm going to show you how to do that today. But one of the things that we need to understand is that the benefit of real estate is that it's local. It's like politics. All politics are local. All real estate's local. So what happens in China, for instance, or Germany, or Europe, or Italy, or another part of the world, Japan, doesn't necessarily directly impact the real estate value in our local market. So we're not necessarily like the stock market tied directly into the world economy. Yes, the economy will affect us. Yes, I get that. But on a day-to-day basis, that sentiment, that consumer sentiment is not going to affect us like it does for the rest of the asset classes out there, like gold, like oil, like stocks, like bonds, like treasury notes. What we have is we've got something that people have to live in. And that's one of the best reasons that real estate is such a great investment, why it's so stable, is that it's the only investment we get to live in. And so that's a huge opportunity. So first step for all of us is to make sure we're communicating with our clients. What most agents are doing is doing nothing but maybe adding to the conversation about the coronavirus and kind of talking about the coronavirus. But what professional agents are doing is addressing it head on with their sphere of influence. So I'm going to give you a script to do that. I'm going to make sure I give you all these scripts so you can actually use them in your marketplace. But here's a sphere script, and here it is. I'm going to read it to you, and then you can use it. You can use it as an email, as a video, whatever you want to use it for, okay? I'm going to give it to you. So the thing that's on everyone's mind is the coronavirus. So this is my lead in, right? It's scary, no doubt. Despite the ups and downs of the stock market, the real estate market is still strong. I want you to know that. In fact, it's incredibly healthy. I'm going to do a comparison for you because some people are comparing this to 2008 when it comes to the stock market. Here's why it's not like 2008 for the real estate market. You see, back in 2008, there were 11 months of supply when we started to enter the crisis for the housing market back then. Today in our market, and I'm going to give you my stats for my market, today in my market, we have 2.2 months of supply. It's an extremely low supply market, and that's good news for sellers. Because we know that we're not oversupplied, that we're not looking at this huge amount of inventory that buyers can choose from. Also, back in 2008, there were subprime loans that created unsustainable gains in the market. We all know that, and it created double-digit appreciation market where it was unsustainable, and you couldn't keep going on and on and on like that. Today, loan standards are very tight. Ask any buyer that's gone through a loan process. Loan standards are very tight. And here's the difference. Interest rates are now at 40-year lows. 40-year lows. In fact, we're at interest rates that are nearing about 3%. Can you imagine? So low. And in our market, what's happened with appreciation rates instead of being double digits like we have seen in the past, they're normalizing. In our market, my market, it's been 4.5%. So that's a very normal, very healthy appreciation level. The other thing that we had in 2008 was unemployment. Unemployment hit over 10%. Right now in our country, we've added 273,000 jobs to this country last month alone, and we're at 3.5% unemployment in the country, the lowest in 50 years, right? So huge. Bottom line, the housing market's safe, it's stable, and it's secure. And just want to put it out there. If you know of anyone that's considering buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I'd love your referral. Now that's the message you should be putting out. I'm going to give you that script so you can put it out to your sphere. Now let's drill down a little bit further. What about buyers that are in escrow with you? They may be getting a little squirrely right now. Buyers that are in escrow who may be getting a little squirrely. What do you do with them? I'm going to give you a script for them, and it's going to start by you being a hero. So you might call your lender on any deals that you're in escrow with and say, hey, with interest rates diving, is there any chance we can lock in a low rate for my buyers? Now, this may have already occurred, but if it hasn't, this is an opportunity for you. If they say yes, now you can make that hero call to your client, and you simply say this: hey, great news. I just talked to our lender and interest rates have dropped. You've probably seen the news, and we're going to be able to lock you in a lower rate and get you a lower payment. You couldn't have timed this purchase any better. It's such great news for you. So you're turning the negative into a positive, and you're reframing the conversation, and you're telling them and congratulating them on what great timing they have. Everybody wants to time the market. Well, guess what? Your buyers have timed this perfectly without even knowing it, but you got to put it out there. Now I'm going to spin this a little bit too. How about reaching out to cooperating agents that have sold your listing and having the same conversation with them? You simply call the cooperating agent and say, hey, I want to just put a bug in here maybe because we don't want this buyer to get soft because, what's happening in the world. Have you called the lender to see if they can get a lower interest rate based on what's happening? They may not have occurred to them to have that conversation. You make them the hero. You help them keep their client solid in the transaction, right? So that's one way you can deal with buyers in escrow. How about buyers that haven't entered escrow yet? Maybe the most susceptible to kind of the scariness of the situation right now. What do we do with them? Well, you definitely want to encourage them and talk to them about this timing issue. So what you might say is, so you have a window of opportunity. I want to let you guys know this. That doesn't come along often with interest rates right now that have hit 8-year lows, really 40-year lows. So if you find something you like, you're going to be able to lock in at this incredible rate, probably a better rate than your parents, your grandparents ever had, or certainly your parents ever had on an interest rate. It's incredible. And the cool thing is you're going to lock that in for 25, 30 years. You couldn't have timed a better time to enter the real estate market and purchase a house. I guarantee you this crisis that we're dealing with will pass, but that interest rate that you lock in is going to stick with you for 30 years, and you're going to benefit from that year after year after year after year. Now's the time to get yourself in a position to win. When you talk to people about that and get them really thinking about the benefit of what this can mean to them long term, a lot of times they'll get over that short-term fear to look at that long-term gain. Now, how about let's dig into sellers that are on the market. Sellers that are on the market that may be thinking, oh, I don't know if I should keep my house on the market. Maybe I should pull it off. That's what we don't want to have happen, especially because we already have a low supply market. So you might say, hey, just calling, I want to give you an update. Sir, you've been watching the coronavirus issues that are coming along. There's a silver lining to this coronavirus and the stock market volatility. Let me tell you what it is. The silver lining is that interest rates have come down. I'm sure you've seen that. So two advantages here. One is that buyers will be able to afford more because as interest rates come down, their ability to purchase at a higher purchase price goes up because they're able to have the same payment but spend more money. So that's a good thing. We might see some buyers that qualified at a lower number but now qualified at a higher number, might bump them up into your price bracket. So that's good. And then the second thing, most important thing, is when we get you guys in escrow, you're going to be able to find your own home and lock in that low rate for the next 30 years. You couldn't have timed really this opportunity any better. Again, I'm coming back to timing, coming back to interest rates, and that's what we need to be focusing on. Sellers, on sellers that are on the fence. These are people you've been talking to, lead generating with, you're following up with, but you got to find a way to close them into putting their house on the market. We know right now we're entering the spring market. This is when everybody should be accelerating their listings, and you see those listings start to come online. What we don't want to have happen is we don't want those people to hesitate. We don't want them to wait. We don't want them to wait and see what happens. We will need them to get those listings on the market. So this is going to require conversations. Don't avoid the topic. Go straight at it. Have the conversation because you're going to get ahead of what they're thinking, right? You got to get inside their head a little bit and talk to them and walk them through what's going on. So here's what you say. You say, hey, the housing market, I just want to let you know, some people are talking to me and they're a little bit nervous about what's going on with the housing market based on the coronavirus, based on the stock market. So I want you to know something. The housing market is still strong. Buyers are still out in force. here's what we had last month, and you quote last month's number. So in my market, for instance, I'm able to say that we had a 62% increase in pending sales. That's my market. Now your market may be a little bit different, but you definitely want to quote those pending sales when they're strong, or your closed sales that are strong, any strong statistics you can point to. So then you follow it up by saying, hey, sellers that are on the market are going to have two huge benefits with this crisis. First, buyers will have more money to spend. We talked about that because of low interest rates. Second, more buyers will be able to enter the market because every time you have a 1% drop in interest rates, it adds 10% more buyers to the pool of people who can actually enter the real estate market. And even if they're entering at a low level, that means it just ripples through the market. That just puts more buyers into place. They buy the smaller homes, and those people move up, and those people move up, and those people move up. It just adds to the pool. So it's huge. But the most important thing is timing. When you sell, you're going to be able to lock in your own interest rate at these 40-year lows, and it's an amazing time to be actually in the market in real estate. So there's some scripts there. There's some ideas for you to deal with this coronavirus issue that we're all dealing with across the country. You're going to see all those scripts here or up here so that you can use them in the field. If any of you want to tap into the Path Performance Coaching and you want to continue to take your business to the next level, we'd love to see you join us or upgrade to one-on-one coaching. Have a great day. Good selling. We'll see you next time over at eRealEstateCoach and The Path.